I know a lot of people out there want to know how to write a book for their business, but they just don't know where to start. The YouTube analytic theories did tell me that you guys like it when I speak about self-publishing. So to take it a step further, I'm actually going to help you write your book and help you self-publish your book through a series of videos. Let's go ahead and get into it. My name is Nicole of Renursing EDU, where we help nurses make moves in their professional careers. Today, I'm going to be talking about writing a book for your business and the 7-step process that I actually use to write all of my books. So writing a book for your business is awesome and amazing because it sets you up for so many things and so many opportunities in the future that will actually increase your revenue over time. If you're a viewer of Renursing EDU, you've probably wondered why I've never actually talked about writing books or self-publishing before, but it was basically because I did not know that you guys like this kind of content. So like I said, I looked into my YouTube analytics and I saw that you guys did like it when I spoke about self-publishing. So I'm going to take it back a step and help you write your book and help you self-publish your book through a series of videos. In this video today, I'm going to go through my 7-step process on helping you actually get that book written in the first place. But before we get started on that 7-step process, I want to tell you why it's actually really a good idea to write a book as a business owner. So opening doors. Books open doors, and you may not be aware of it, but Renursing EDU was actually started because I wrote my first book way back when in 2013, and I think it was published in 14, so a long time ago. And that book actually started my business. I do not suggest writing a book to start a business, though. It was a complete mistake, but writing a book will help enhance your business in the long term. Second reason that writing a book for your business is so great is because over the years, I've had a lot of media exposure simply because I'm an author. So I've been on podcast interviews, I've been on YouTube interviews, I've been asked to be a guest blogger. I have had all kinds of opportunities that I wouldn't have normally had I not written my first book. I also want to let you know that when you do write books, that people see you as an expert. So if you're an expert in a subject and they are searching for whomever to help them with whatever business need they have, and they see that you have written a book and the potential person that they're looking at besides you hasn't written a book, more than likely, they're going to choose you simply because you've written a book and you are the perceived expert on the subject matter that you've written that book on. Another great reason to write a book as a business owner, and it comes on down the line, is basically that books can give you passive income for years and years to come. So I have a lot of my books published on Amazon, and I do enjoy getting regular royalties each month from my books. So when you're writing one book, you may not think about, your royalties down the line, but that is something that does occur after you've written your book and you've got some traction and people are buying your book. So you have passive income. Basically, you've written that book, you've got it published, and you are making income while you sleep, which is great. Another reason, and this is my last reason, but it is a great reason to write books for your business, is that it opens up additional income streams. So I have written a lot of books, and the income streams that have come from my books are basically because I've repurposed that content that I've written in those books and repurposed it into something else. For example, I have written a book series to help nurse practitioners pass their board exam. That book series has turned into a few different products that have brought me money over the years. Number one, it has turned into a journal, which brings me more income. Number two, it has turned into a clinical cheat sheet. Number three, it has turned into apps that are available on the Apple Store and Google Play. So your business book does not necessarily just have to be a business book. Like I said earlier, I would not write a book to start a business, but I would write a book to enhance my business. So therefore, take that book, repurpose that content into a course, an app, a template, whatever it may be, and multiply that money from that single book. Okay, so those are my reasons for business owners to actually write a book. So let's go ahead and move into the actual process that I use to write all of my books. Okay, so number one is outlining. When you were in middle school, you had to outline when you were writing a book report. So it's the same exact way. Your outline is going to include a working title. And I say working title because 9 times out of 10, your title is going to change before you actually publish your book down the line. So don't worry so much about what the title of your book is now. Worry about what the content of your book is. You want to write a book for your readers. You want to make sure that your book gives your readers value and it positions you as knowledgeable and as an expert on whatever subject you're writing on. So make sure you cover all of those topics. So you're going to obviously outline your intro, and then you're going to divide it up by chapters. And if you want to make your chapters a little special and have something in each chapter, you can most definitely put that in the outline as well. For example, for my series books, my chapters went as follows. So the beginning, instead of an intro, it was basically the anatomy and physiology. And then I went over signs and symptoms of a specific disease. I went over treatment, and then I went over clinical pearls. And that repeated throughout the book. So if you have a technical book or you have a book where you can do something on a repeating basis throughout the chapters, that's good too, because that will help keep you organized and stay on track. Another thing to keep in mind is that this outline is workable, meaning that this will change as well. So if you want to move chapter 3 to chapter 5 and vice versa, you can most definitely do that. But the very first step is to write that outline. I know people are concerned about finalizing things, but you're nowhere near finalizing anything. So this outline is just a rough draft. This is a sketch of what you're going to be writing about. Okay, number 2 is actually your first draft. So I like to work in Google Docs. Therefore, I have my outline. I make a copy of that outline, and then I start writing directly on the outline, meaning that you have your Roman numeral 1 for intro. Right under that, you are just writing your whole paragraph or however many paragraphs you have for the introduction under that Roman numeral. At this point, don't worry about formatting, okay? As new writers and people who have never written a book before, I get a lot of questions from people asking, how many words should my book be? I don't want you to get hung up on word count, but I will give you some guidelines. The word count needs to be as long as you can actually portray and provide the information that your reader needs. For example, my book series for NP board review, those books averaged about 10,000 words per book. And you'd probably say 10,000 words is really not a lot. And you're right, it's not. But within those 10,000 words, I was able to convey the message that needed to be conveyed. I was able to cover everything that needed to be covered. Had I not covered everything that needed to be covered, then the readers of the book would feel like they weren't getting what they paid for. And that's the last thing you want to occur. You don't want someone to purchase your book and read it and feel like, oh, this kind of sucked because they didn't really give me the information that I was looking to receive. They actually just pitched their business and told me to go to their website and buy their course and everything else. So this is true. We are writing a book on business and you're trying to get business in from your book, but you do not have to overtly pitch your business, simply because if you are giving enough value and you are giving the readers what they want to hear and read about in the first place, they will come to you. So please do not be one of those authors. And I've read some of these books where people every other page are pitching whatever it is. You can subtly pitch, but people are really going to respect you if you provide enough information for whatever it is that they are coming to you for, and they get what they need in that book. Okay, so the guidelines that I was speaking about as far as number wise, I know a lot of people like numbers. So if you're going to publish on Amazon, 10,000 words is the bare minimum that you should write. Okay, you can write novellas for like 5,000 words. I understand that Amazon will take a book that small, but 10,000 words for a business book is something that is doable. I would not write a 5,000 word book on Amazon and put it up as a business book, because 5,000 words is pretty much a long blog post. You're not going to be able to convey the message that you need to convey in 5,000 words, and your readers are going to be disappointed. If for some reason you are going to publish your book on your own website and sell your book through your own website without Amazon, I would suggest the minimum word count that you have is 20,000 words. The reason being is that when you are publishing things on Amazon, you have millions of other people that you're competing with. Even if they're not in the same category, it's going to take a little bit of time before people are able to see your book and come across your book in the actual rankings. So with that being said, with everybody who's publishing on Amazon, we get into this price war, right? Some people are pricing their books for 99 cents, $2.99, $5.99, $9.99. That's not a lot of money. And then on top of that, you have the royalties that Amazon takes before they actually pay you. So that's not a lot of money when you think about it. So you're not going to be able to price your book in a manner that gives you a lot of royalties if you have a book published on Amazon. So back to publishing your book and just selling it completely on your own website, not involving Amazon at all. That book needs to be at least 20,000 words. The reason being is that, for one, yes, we are giving your readers value. 20,000 words is enough to give your readers value and make it long enough to where they feel like they've got their money's worth. And number two, that is going to allow you to charge much higher than you would being on Amazon. For example, I have a book that I have not published on Amazon, but it sells for $27. And it is just an ebook, not a print book. It's $27 and people purchase it. That would not happen on Amazon. I could price one of my books for $27, an ebook on Amazon, but I doubt that I would get that many sales. And then on top of that, then you have the competition, because people are going to look at other books within your niche and say, well, I can get this other book for $9.99. What makes this one so special? So you have to keep that in mind. So when you're writing, if you're going to be publishing on Amazon, 10,000 words is enough. If you're going to just take that book and publish on your own website, 20,000 words minimum is enough. Okay? So we've outlined, we started that first draft. Everyone writes at their own speed. Everyone has their own way of doing things. So you're going to have to find a writing habit. I personally like writing first thing in the morning. I write to music and I write in blocks of time. For instance, I will say Alexa, because I can't say it because it will come on. I will say, hey, set a timer for 30 minutes and play music, right? And so my actual favorite, many people may not know, my favorite type of music to write to is actually Justin Bieber, because it's really upbeat, and I know it's crazy, but I turn on his tracks and for 30 minutes, I am just writing. Okay, so this may work for people. This may not work for you. So you've got to find your own writing habit. After 30 minutes is up, I take a break. And if I feel like I want to go back to writing, I will go back and do 30-minute blocks. Okay? That's how I write. If you're still working, your schedule might be a little bit different. You might have to work really early in the morning before you go to work, or maybe on your lunch break, or maybe afterwards. I will tell you, when I was still in clinical practice, that's exactly what I did. I took my lunch breaks. I went out to my car, ate my food in my car, had my laptop, and I wrote for my lunch break. That's how I got a lot of my business done. I got a lot of my books done that way. I got a lot of blog posts when I was freelancing that way. I got a lot of things done on my lunch break. So it's completely doable. So for this type of book though, I don't want you to take 6 months to a year or anything else like that writing it. This type of book should take no longer than 3 months. And with my very first book, it took me forever because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't have any resources. I didn't have anybody to walk me through the steps. It took a long time. It took much longer than 3 months. But for the person who has never written a book before, I would say 3 months is a good goal to set, from writing the book all the way through getting it published on Amazon or your own website. Okay? 3 months. You do not want to take any longer than that, because simply you're not going to reap any benefits. If you're just sitting on a book, you're not going to reap the benefits of having this book to help you with your business. Okay? So after this first draft is written, we're going to move into step number 3, which is kind of editing. Well, take that back. After this first draft is written, after you've written this, you need to stop and take a break. So what I mean by break is a couple days, 3 or 4 days, a week, and not do anything. So no writing, no looking at your manuscript, nothing. The reason being is because you've been so immersed into something that you're not going to see the mistakes. You're not going to see the spelling errors. You're not going to see that your syntax is off. You're not going to see that this paragraph needs to be moved to this paragraph. You're not going to see any of that. Your first draft is trash. My first draft on everything is trash. It's nature of the beast. It's not going to be perfect, so don't expect it to be perfect, okay? You take this break, come back to your computer, and you look at your manuscript with fresh eyes. At this point, you do a read through and you read out loud as well, because if you're stumbling over words when you're reading out loud, your readers will also stumble, right? So put it through some kind of editing software. I prefer Grammarly. I use Grammarly. I just catch the syntax errors, the grammatical errors, all the errors that I can find. I also take off my little notations for my outline. So like I said, Roman numeral 1 is intro. I take that off and, adjust everything. And I put page breaks in. So you're starting a new chapter, you need to put a page break in. And so I get everything ready for the next step, which is sending it off to a professional editor. So never under any circumstance is your self-editing good enough to publish your own book. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care if you are a professional editor. You do not edit your own book and then publish it for other readers, simply because you're human. You're going to miss something. So get a editor off of Fiverr or Upwork. And those are the 2 places that I've used over the years, and I've had really good success with the editors I use. Vet your editors to see if they work the way you work. And also, when you're editing, you have to remember, when you're looking for an editor, you have to remember what type of editing they'll be doing. So there are some editors that are better than others, some that just do line editing. So line editing is basically changing the syntax of the sentence and maybe, and then also changing grammar and spelling mistakes. That's fine. But developmental editors will help you more, simply because they will actually not only do the grammatical errors and everything else, they will change paragraphs and sentences around to make it flow better. So that way your reader is going from point A to Z versus going from Z to X to R to whatever. They will make sure everything is flowing well for the reader. And that's very, very, very important. So You ask the editors what type of editing they do. Most definitely make sure that they're working on the same program that you're working. Like I mentioned earlier, I love Google Drive and I do a majority of my work on Google Drive. So I would like an editor that works on Google Drive versus them working in the Word or Microsoft software. Simply because on Google Drive, they have a feature, they have it on Word too, but I just don't like the layout, but they have a feature where someone can make a comment, they can X out a sentence, when you're still seeing it, they can highlight things, change things around, and then you come up behind them and you either accept that suggestion or you don't accept that suggestion, or you make changes in the meantime, right? So this is the way I get my books edited faster, because I'm working simultaneously with the editors instead of having the editor edit and then send me this long document with all of these changes, and then I have to go through without their input, basically. Because what happens when you're in Google Docs, you can make these edits and then they will see that you've made edits on their end and vice versa. So you guys are pretty much working simultaneously on the document. So this is one way that will get your book done faster, okay? After the editing phase is done and after you've accepted or rejected whatever changes the editor has made, the next phase is formatting. Formatting is very important. Out of all the books that I've written, I have never formatted any of my books simply because I know how important it is. You want to portray yourself as the professional you are. And so formatting, just like editing, needs to be done by a professional. When you're writing a business book, if it's not too technical, it's going to be simply done on print and ebook form. So most of my books are print and ebook, so that way I can maximize my income, and then that way some people like to read on Kindle, some people like to read a print book. So make sure you have a formatter that can do both. Before you hire your formatter for print, you need to know what size books you will have for your print books. So there are different sizes, and this is the time where you need to figure out exactly what size it is, because if you get it formatted in the wrong size, you're going to have problems when you upload everything on Amazon. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples for my books. So this is a 6x9. You see this is wider and it's a little bit taller. And then this is what it looks like on the spine. And this is, I believe this is a 5x8. So you see the different sizes for these two particular books. And obviously, the smaller the book is, the thicker it's going to be on your spine. So that's nothing you need to worry about until you actually get to your book cover, which is the next step. So make sure, like I said, you know exactly what size your book is going to be, and that only applies to your print books. Your ebook does not matter at this point. You just need to make sure that they format for ebook. You need to let them know that you're going to be publishing on Amazon and how to format that. And if they have any kind of experience, they'll know all those details and everything. Okay, so the next step is actually getting your cover done. So the cover, you're going to need to know, obviously, the size of your book once again. So the ebook does not matter. They're going to make a cover on ebook specifications, but for the print book, you're going to have to know the exact page count. So the print book cover includes the front cover, the spine, and the back cover. And those are all precise measurements based on page number. So you have to wait until your book is professionally formatted, because this is going to be different than what you're writing on in Google Docs, because you're writing on an 8.5x11 in Google Docs and nothing is formatted. So your formatter is going to drop that down to 6x9 or 5x8 or whatever book size you decided on, and everything's going to be different. So your page numbers are going to be completely different, right? Once you get a graphic designer, once again, off of Fiverr or Upwork, because that's where a majority of my graphic designers have come from over the years, get a graphic designer and you tell them, I need a print cover and I also need an ebook cover. Make sure the graphic designer knows how to do both. If you come across a graphic designer that says, I only do print covers and I don't do ebooks, X them out. Make sure you get someone that does both, simply because they can do both at the same time. And if for some reason you did not have someone that could do both at the same time, you're going to be messed up, considering the fact that they may not know how to alter what the other graphic designer has done, going vice versa from print to ebook or ebook to print. Just don't do that. Make it easy for yourself and find a graphic designer that can do both the print and the ebook cover for your book. So I want to show you. So this book has to be specified on your page count. So this, my very first book, you guys, this book was 181 pages after it was formatted. So your graphic designer has to know your dimensions here. So this is 5x8, right? They have to know your dimensions for your cover, and they have to know your dimensions specifically for your spine. This all comes along with your page count. And then on top of that, with your print books, there is one more thing that you need to do. You're going to have to write your back matter for your print books. This is nothing that you have to do for an ebook, simply because it's an ebook and there's no back to an ebook. But you're going to have to write just like a little introduction. Some people put testimonials back here. Some people put what the book is about. Some people put their picture, their little bio. It just depends on what you're doing with your book, okay? So keep that in mind. Another thing about book covers is that you want to make sure your cover is going to be engaging and captivating for someone looking for your book. So on Amazon, there are millions and millions of authors. So therefore, there are millions and millions of books that one could choose from. And you want to make sure that your cover stands out and your cover is engaging and the title of your book tells people what the book is about. One thing that I do mention to a lot of people when they talk about writing a book and their book cover is that out of all the books that I've written, none of the books have me on the cover. And I know a lot of first-time authors really want to put their face on the cover of their book, but I will tell you from a reader standpoint, it's really irrelevant. The reader only cares about what value your book is going to give them once they read it. They do not care about your face. People are not more inclined to buy a book because it has your face on it, unless you're a celebrity. And, you know, if you're a celebrity watching my channel, that's completely awesome. But a lot of my viewers probably aren't celebrities. So I would not suggest putting your book on your face. So like I said, none of my books have my face on the cover, except my daughter would probably think that this is me. I do have characters on my books, my earlier books. I have characters, and my daughter thinks that it looks like me, but these aren't really me. They're just characters, okay? So that book stands out because it has a character and it has bright colors and it has the title saying what the book is about. I would not suggest putting your face on your cover, simply being that people really don't care. They only care about the value that you're going to provide once they read the book. The closest I've actually had to putting my face on anything is the book that you see back there, my textbook. And you see that the textbook does not have my face on the cover, but the textbook has a picture of me on the back of that book, simply because it's a clinical book. And a lot of other authors in the clinical space that have written textbooks put their picture on the back of the book. But other than that, no, you will not see a cover with my face on the book. So I just wanted to throw that out to you guys and let you guys know that that's something I see a lot of new people do is, you know, making sure that their face is on the cover. But honestly, no one cares. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, this is my book. I should brand it with my face so people know who I am. People will know who you are by your name, right? So people knew how I was over the years without my face on the cover. So it'll be okay. So we've gone through the hardest parts of actually getting your book written and getting it formatted and getting the book cover done. So the final step is actually publishing your book on Amazon. Okay, so Publishing your book on Amazon, going through the first time, it may seem difficult, but it's really not. But the thing about it is that it takes a little bit of time if you're just starting out. So I will actually do another video walking you guys through that. I actually have a series of videos that I want to do basically on writing a book for your business, publishing your book, writing a book faster, writing a series. I will do an entire series of videos on talking about writing a book for your business. Okay, so in this next video, I'm going to talk about actually how to write your book quicker. So we talked about writing this book and getting it done in 3 months. I'm going to talk about how you can actually get your book done in a weekend. So if you have not subscribed to Renursing EDU, please do so now, because you will not know when the next video drops on how to write this book more quickly than the 3 months that I gave you. So you can write this book in a weekend basically and get that first draft done. And you will also learn later on down the line how to publish on Amazon and how to repurpose content and all this stuff as far as writing books for your business. So please subscribe to Renursing EDU, like this video, and share it with others. And I will see you in the next video.